We'll never take for granted the chance we have to live in these cycles with the moon and the stars. This is a gift available to all of us, and we choose to capture the best of it through our art. These 3 pictures have been created in 75 minutes.
We planned this one, but I edited the images over the scope of 1 year, and I forgot about the plan. It's when I saw that the 3 images were on the same morning that I was like, oh, we made it, but I didn't really know. I forgot about this whole thing. And I started to write about that night. Can you read it for me?
The making of 3 images in 75 minutes. We often say that if we make one good picture during a session, then we're happy. We made these 3 very different looking light painting images within the span of exactly 75 minutes. And this was all planned. We try not to get tied too much to our plans as we're very dependent on the weather, but this time everything worked exactly as we wished, which is not often the case. We make plans and we know that we have to adjust.
It can be cloudy or too windy to create something decent.
Yeah, even if we don't want to attach to the result or to the plan itself, but it's very satisfying when it happens. That morning, we set the alarm clock at around 2 a.m., drove for 45 minutes, and we were ready to shoot at 3:20 a.m., just in time for the moonset.
Getting to the place where we shoot is not always easy. It was a 45 minutes drive just to reach a place where we have reflection. The salt flats are huge, but at that specific moment when we were there was only one small patch of water that we could use for photography. It was taking 45 minutes to get there, and we had to go back and forth every time. So we were going there every night, 19 nights in a row, and we did a few mornings also. So we did 23 sessions total, morning and nights. And this is number 14, that specific morning.
Yeah, so at that point we were almost 2 weeks in the trip. It's really interesting because we have to drive, I was about to say in pitch black, but not exactly because the moon was setting, so we could still like have some light from the moon, but it's quite a special experience to drive.
There are no roads, it's just salt everywhere, and we drive using the GPS.
Exactly, because you cannot, the driver has to be careful to avoid like the potential holes in the salt, and so it's wet everywhere. We're driving fairly slowly, so we can make it safely to the spot. So, and we're alone, we're by ourselves, so it's a very special thing to experience at 2-3 in the morning. We planned our session using photopills, as usual, but also from the experience we've had years ago in the same location, witnessing crazy colors with the moon just over the horizon. So that was in 2018?
18, yeah.
That was in 2018, and it was a surprise for us that first time that we actually saw the result of what was creating the effect of the moon setting over like the salt flats. I remember the colors. It was kind of hard to believe because we've never seen anything like that before. So.
Yeah, it was super special. And also, it's one of those special moments where what we see is what we capture, because when we shoot with the Milky Way, we don't see it as clear as that, but with the moonset, super bright, and we see all the colors in the sky, it looks like a sunset.
Is it even more special to experience because we know that it's not something we would usually witness. This is picture number 1. created at 3:44 a.m. This is probably our best of this kind so far, with so many details and deep and rich colors. We didn't get a lot of chances to shoot these specific conditions, which makes it very special, and it's a huge improvement since the last time we did it. We then waited 50 minutes as we wanted the glow of the moon to disappear. It was now time to capture the Milky Way, which appeared at a great angle at that time. We went for vertical framing at 14 millimeters. This is picture number 2. I remember trying to get warm in the car. We would like have the heat on for a few minutes on and then turning the car off.
Yeah, trying to save on gas. Outdoors, it was near freezing point.
You kind of get warm-ish, relax, and then we have to crank ourselves up again to get ready to shoot outside. We did the third one just a few minutes later with Kim sitting on a dishwashing bucket.
That dishwashing bucket was quite useful. You use that to put your clothes sometimes. But the main reason why we bought it, I think it was for that one shot that we did with the hollow squares. So you would have something on which to sit on.
So the idea here was to find something that we could put in the salar, in the water, and just one for Eric to put his equipment, and the other one for me either to put the walkie-talkie when we're doing giant sunsets, and or flip it and sit on it if we do a holographic square. Yeah, I remember that we were, at the beginning of the trip, we were thinking about how could we be more efficient, because last time for the walkie-talkie we were using a glass. But then I had nowhere to put my clothing, so the bucket was a really nice way to actually have multiple purposes, because I could sit on it, because we knew for sure that I would not sit in the water in the middle of the night. The water is cold.
Freezing water, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big no-no. And we didn't want to have a chair or anything, so something that could be hidden easily. It was our best purchase of the trip.
Yeah, but I wanted to do some hollow squares in the Unisalt class because this is the cleanest foreground we could hope for. And I remember like many nights we're like, oh, let's do it, and now it's too cold or too windy, and that time I was like, okay, it's now or never, so let's do it.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I think when it was too windy, it could not work because it's still at least 6 seconds.
6 seconds
of exposure
you need to
time.
stay so still, and also it creates some ripples in the water if it's too windy, so it's not as interesting.
Exactly. So the conditions really had to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was the time was 5 a.m. at that point. Mm-hmm. It was cold.
Yeah.
It was very cold. You had just a few minutes to warm up. I think I negotiated that one by telling you, okay, we do some hollow square and then we go back at the hotel.
Yeah.
Because we skipped the blue hour of the morning.
It's true. I remember that was so there was a negotiation going on. I'm just gonna so Eric said no time to warm up. We're gonna go shoot hollow square right away, but then we're done. And I was like, okay, we're done. You said we're done. So I'm just gonna read the last sentence. It was cold. Yes, we said that. But I wanted to play with the hollow square at least once in this trip. It was a unique occasion to use these tools on a perfect mirror. I don't remember necessarily all the moments from all the nights because usually I rarely see the pictures, so I have a less good memory of when which image was taken. But for the hollow square, it's very clear to me because we did it once that's it ever in uni. So it's very unique. For that one, I remember that once I said, okay, yes, we can do it now, even if I was already, cold, I was talking to myself. I was like, yes, I'm cold, I'm tired, we've been doing that for a while, for 2 weeks, but that's why we're here.
And you want to do it again.
Of course. But in the moment, I kind of, because of the, I guess we're sleep deprived, high altitude, my body feels like, I don't feel super sharp, either physically or mentally at that point. So we're like, I had to, kick myself in the butt, doing like, you can do this.
Yeah, and overall, and that's the point about this video, is the satisfaction of making 3 images that are so different visually within only 75 minutes, and that really happens.
It's very satisfying because even me, if you haven't told me that these 3 images were created within like an hour and 15 minutes, I could never have guessed. So yeah, there's something very like magical about that, in the experience at least. And I kind of really like the fact that when we look at the images, we don't know, we don't necessarily know what time it was. We can't really tell how cold it was, and that doesn't really matter in the end. It's not about that, but for us to have these memories, to me, that's precious, and it adds something special to the experience.